Hi everyone, welcome back in another amazing tutorial where we're going to be building this awesome landing page. So as you can see, it is a modern looking landing page with this color schema that we're going to be using to give it a kind of high-techy feeling. So this landing page is for an application that I built for about 8 months ago for content generator. So it's AI SaaS application. So I thought why not to create a really good looking landing page for it. So this is the landing page. So we're going to use React, Tailwind CSS, TypeScript, and Shadcn. And also we're going to be using this tool that I created where I'm providing reusable components that we are going to actually use to actually speed up the process building the project without having to start everything from scratch. So let's go back to our landing page. So this is the hero section. As you can see, we're having a bold and big title with the description, with buttons and also avatars just to give it to give more credibility to the actual user. And next we're having this awesome image showing the actual dashboard. As I said, so it's for a real application that I built. It. This is the application, and this is how it looks, or this is the main dashboard. Next, we're having this little text over here, and underneath it, we're having the kind of statistics section with the actual blur at the right side just to give it a modern look and also with a little chart in here to enhance this section as well. And next we're having the main features of the actual application with some images in here for the templates inside the application. Next, we're having the 3 steps to actually use the application with these cards, and where I'm using the gradient color just to give it a more professional look. And next, we're having the testimonial. So this is the design that I choose for this application. As you can see, it's actually updates the testimonial and the image, and the images that I'm using in here are just AI generated images. And as you can see, we're using some blurry blobs underneath the actual card just to give it a great look. And here we're having this pricing section. So this is the design that we're choosing for. And finally, we're having the footer. So all of this is a part of one section, which is the footer. So we're having the subscribe to the newsletter. And also finally, we're having at the bottom this very simple footer, as you can see. And also we're using the icon and the name. And also all of these links are working. So when I click on how it works, it's gonna take us to the section that we are clicking on. And also, this landing page is totally responsible, so it's mobile friendly. As you can see, all the elements and the components look right in the mobile screen. So just to give or enhance the user experience, and notice here we can be able to access to the menu from here if we want to. So this is the landing page that we're going to be building. So it's suited for any SaaS. So all you have to do just to change the information and the logo, and you are ready to go. So if you are uh, ready to start building this project, stick with me till the end of this video. Welcome back. So we're gonna start from this website. And also the reason for this because I have another tool that I'm providing for free to be able to actually generate a Next.js boilerplate code that has all the features or all the necessary elements like the font, Shadcn, and many other things, and just focus on building or starting your project. So click on the tool section and click on this element, and you are going to be headed towards this paper. So first, the first step, we need to provide the name. So I'm going to actually choose the name of the SaaS, and then I'm going to actually type in a description of the project. This is a modern landing page like this. So just for the sake of building this project, and we're gonna click on next. And the next step is for the customization. So we're having some basic stuff in here. So we're having the radius, we're having the font. So I'm gonna choose the Poppins font, which is my favorite font. And finally, we are going to choose the color. So we're gonna click on this and so I'm going to paste the color. So this is the color that I used in the project. Then I'm going to click on next. And finally, we're having a really simple overview of all the elements that we choose before we click on the generate. So I'm going to click on the generate button to be able to generate the whole code of our project. So our code has been generated successfully. So I'm going to actually open that up. And as you can see, so this is the whole source code of the actual Next.js project. So all I have to do is just extract this in. So I'm going to create a new folder for this, and I'm going to call it AIverse landing page because I have another folder that has the same name. Then click on OK, and our folder has been extracted. So all I have to do is just open up VS Code and open up the actual folder that I just created it. So I'm going to click on the open folder. Then I'm going to go to the actual folder that I newly created. So, so this is the actual project, as you can see. Just before I install all the packages, just to show you what is in the actual folder. Like for example, if we go to the package.json, as you can see, we're having many packages already inside the dependencies object, and also we're having the Shadcn installed with all the necessary components, so you don't have to install them over and over again when you are building a project. So, and as you can see, we're having, if we go to the layout.tsx, so here, as you can see, we're having some fonts, and also we're having the theme provider provided by Shadcn already inside the layout.tsx. So that's going to save you a little bit of time rather than setting this up every time that you want to build a Next.js project. So this is the actual objective of creating this little tool. So after we created our project, the next step is installing all the packages that exist inside the package.json and installing them in the modules folder. To do so, I'm going to open up a terminal window and I'm going to just type in npm install and hit enter, and all the packages are going to start installing. So all the packages have been installed successfully, and as you can see right now, I don't have any errors inside the layout.tsx. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to type in npm run diff to start the project, and I'm going to go back to the browser and create a new tab, and I'm going to choose localhost 3000. The project has been compiled, and as you can see, this is what you will see first when you actually go to the home page. So it's a very simple landing page that I'm providing inside this tool. So everything is running successfully. So after we created our project and we run it, so one thing that I'm going to do, and this is what we are gonna actually use or rely on just for organization. I'm going to create here. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna get rid from this boilerplate landing page. So I'm gonna get rid from all of this. So I'm gonna create a new component. So just save the file, and also I'm gonna get rid from this, and I'm not gonna delete, I'm gonna keep the file because we're gonna use it when we use the other component from this website. And one thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a new folder called data. So because we're going to use fake data or mock data inside each component, so we're going to actually save all our data for each component inside this folder, and the component folder or the components folder is going to be for the components that we're going to be using for ballstack.dev. So as you can see, this is the navbar right off the bat. We're having the necessary elements for each navbar, the name and the logo. We're having the menu and the submenu as well. And also we're having the buttons, and we can modify all of these elements by, as I showed you, by using the actual prompts that I'm providing inside this component. So once we created our component, so the next thing that we need to add the new data that we're going to be using inside our new component. So first thing first, we're going to start by the logo and the name of the application. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to call it app logo.tsx like this. And so I already copied the actual code just to save time. I'm going to paste it in here. So this is the simple functional component that we're going to be using. So we're having a simple div, and inside of it, we're having the logo. So we're going to use React icons because it's already in the package.json. And also we're going to use the background gradient like this by using these utility classes. We're going to make the edges rounded, and we're going to use the flex item center and justify center to be able to center the icon vertically and horizontally. So all I have to do, and this is where I'm going to start using this actual component. So I'm going to go to the domain, and this domain has nested elements inside of it. And here I'm going to choose the name property, and the name property actually accepts a React node type element. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just import the app logo function that I just created, and I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna use this component. So the component has been imported successfully. And if I go back to our project, I have an error, and the reason for this is because I forgot to export the function. So I need to add the export keyword in here, and it's going to work. So as you can see, we're having our logo, and the issue that I did, I chose the wrong property. So I need to actually choose the logo. So that's why we are having two icons in here. So as you can see, this is our logo, and the logo has gone because I choose the right property. And we're gonna do the same thing in here because we're having this property called name. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna go to the components folder, and I'm going to create a new file called app name.jsx, and I'm going to paste the actual component. So we're having an h1 tag, and inside of it, we're having the name of the project AI verse. So we separated the two words just to make this with this color. And I'm going to now, I'm not going to forget the export keyword. I'm going to add it at the beginning of the functional component. And we're going to go back to the page.csx, and we're going to actually import the the name or the app name functional component. And if we go back to our project, so let's reload the page to see the new update. So as you can see, this is our text. So we're having our logo, and we're having our task or text, sorry, successfully added in our navbar. And the next step, we are going to actually update the menu. So we're going to go back to our project, and here now inside the data folder, I'm going to create a new file called navbar data. So sorry, navbar data.jsx. So I'm going to copy the data that we're going to be using. So this is the data. So the thing that I need to import is the menu item type from the component. So let me delete this so we can be able to create a new line. So this is the actual area that we're going to be using. So it has so many things. I'm going to try to explain everything in here. So we're having our original main menu. So this is a array, and so don't worry about this as const, and because we're going to be so I'm going to explain this later when we are going to use the ID property of each section. So what we're going to be doing, we are going to copy this one, and we're going to loop through each element or each object, and we're going to create a new array called the main menu copy. And we're having this function, and I'm going to actually explain this function once we get to the step we're going to be using this. So you will know why I created this function. So once we're having our data, so all I have to do, just go back to the page.jsx inside this component, and we're going to use this prompt called navigation menu, and we are going to actually import the main menu copy. So that's why I have the export keyword in here. And this is what I'm going to do, main menu copy. I'm going to save the file again. So let's go back to our landing page, and let's reload the page to see the new data. So as you can see, our main menu has been actually added successfully in our navbar. As you can see, when I hover over the features, as you can see, we're having the hashtag, the feature. So this is the URL. So this is what we're going to be using to actually go to the section that we want inside the landing page. So once we're done with this, so the only step, or the last step, sorry, is the customizing the buttons. And for this also I provided I provided, sorry, prompt called the auth links to be able to actually customize and add some elements inside the button without having to go to inside the navbar to component. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to paste this object in here. So the auth links actually accepts two properties, the login and the register. So the login has also the class name, and also it has the text. So we're not going to use the text, and also it has many properties. Make it visible, on-click event listener, the text, the URL link, and the variant. So the only thing that we're going to be using is the class name to actually customize the button. So we're going to use the background gradient. So a little bit of the padding at the right and at the left, and around it, it's going to be full. And for the register, the background, it's going to be transparent. So let's save the file and let's go back to our actual page. And as you can see, this is the new styling of our nav bar. And one last thing before we move on to the next component, which is the hero section. So I'm going to add inside the div this actual class name. Sorry, so I'm going to go to the div and I'm going to paste this in here. So I'm going to add the relative and the height full and the width as well. And we're going to use this dark utility just to say to the theme or the theme that is provided by Shadcn when it is dark. So this is what we are using. So we're going to use this color of the background, and the overflow is going to be hidden. So I don't know if you can see the difference. So the color, it's going to be actually slightly changed to actually get this actual background color. So it's not a big of a difference. So this is the step related to the nav bar. So once we set that up, the next thing that we're going to be adding is the hero section. So once we're done with the nav bar, so the next section is the hero section. So to do this, we're going to go back to the boldstack.div, click on the blocks or go to the blocks page and go to the hero sections. So go all the way to the bottom. So this is the hero section that we're going to be using. So, and also you can access to the docs to see the examples if you want to. So I'm going to copy the code, and inside the components folder, we are going to create, we're going to create in here a new file called hero section.jsx, and I'm going to paste the file here. I'm going to close this tab, save the file first. Then we can be able to use our functional components. So all we have to do, just call this functional component. So it is called hero section 5. I'm going to save the file. And also it has so many prompts that we're going to be using to customize our hero section. So if we go back to our application and reload the page to see the new hero section that we just added. So as you can see, this is the hero section with all the elements. So we're having the feature badge with the icon, a bold title, description, these two buttons, and also the avatars. Here we're going to be adding the page of sorry, the image of the dashboard, and finally we're having these features. So like in the demo of the project, so I actually got rid from the features because we're going to have a whole section for this, so there is no need to repeat this. So this is our functional component right off the bat. So think of it just creating this over and over again. So it's a total waste of time for me. So why not just create this functional component once and reuse it over and over again. So once we're having this component, we're going to start customizing or updating this component to fit the need that we want. We're going to start updating the text of the zero section. So we're gonna go back to page.tsx, And here I'm gonna actually paste the new data. So there is no need to start typing all of these things. I think it's a total waste of time. So the objective is just to show you how to be able to use all of these components, put them together to create an outstanding landing page. So I'm gonna explain all of this. So we're having the main heading. So these are just built-in properties inside the functional component as we did for the navbar. So the main heading, it has the text, but also it has another property called the class name. So the text also accepts the React node. So the reason why I did so, just if you want, for example, to create some custom elements inside the text property if you use in a string, so you can't do this. So that's why I use the text as a React node. So we're having the h1 tag, and we're having all of these utility classes to customize the actual h1 tag. And here we're having the spans just to be able to actually get this kind of result, and also to make sure that uh, uh, like uh, like all the text, it's gonna be like this. Like this part, it's gonna be in this line, and the second part's gonna be in this line. So that's why we use the nested span inside this span. And next, we're having the primary button. The primary button also accepts the text and the class name. So also it accepts the on-click event listener, the URL, the variant. So make sure to not use the on-click event listener if the component that you are using is a server component. So that's why I provided the URL property to be able to actually use it in a server component to go to point towards a route that you want the user to go to. So we're having this class name. This class name, we're going to use the background gradient. And the best thing or the best part about this component, so you don't have to go inside the hero section or any component that I'm providing. Just use the prompts and you are ready to go. And also we're having the secondary button with this text and the class name. Here we're going to get rid from the borders, and also the background is going to be transparent. And finally, we're having the subhidden with the class name and the text. And as you can see, each property has also its class name just to be able to customize it just from the parent component. So this is what we're having so far. So all of the things that we did has been updated. I showed you the title, the description, and also the button, as you can see, has been updated with this beautiful gradient color. So we're going to stick with the avatars since this is just for the purpose of demonstration. So it's not a real application. So those are the properties that we used. And also we're going to keep actually working on this section by providing the remaining prompts. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to paste the remaining prompts of this component. So I'm going to explain everything in here. So we're having the class name, which is the main class name that's for the section. So we're going to add a little bit of padding at the top, and also for the feature card class name. So this feature card class name is for this whole card, as you can see. So here we're going to use the background gradient and the features to be able to get from the features in here. We're going to just provide an empty array and the badge feature. So it's going to responsible for actually customizing this part. So as you can see, we're having the new text. So we're going to keep the logo. And also we're having the source image, the dashboard.png. So first make sure to add the image inside the public folder. So I've already done this. And so here you go. So this is the hero section. As you can see, it looks pretty nice so far by adding this hero section with all of these, by updating all of the prompts of the components. So we're having this final result. And to make things look even nicer, so we're gonna use, as I showed you, the blur at the top of the page. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go back to our file and I'm gonna paste the divs. So I don't know if it's right to use this. So I actually added another div for the same, that is using the same utility classes just to enhance the blur in here. So as you can see, things look even cooler right now by adding it in here. So that's why we added first the relative position, because we're going to be using these in our landing page. And here, as you can see, I'm using the top. So since it is has the absolute position, and also when in the size, so uh, the top pixels are going to be are going to be higher. So the blur, so this is the blur that we're using, and also we're using the background primary, so a little bit of width, and also we're using the left and the translate to make sure that this is gonna always be centered, since it is an absolute has the absolute position. So I'm just duplicating this just to give the blur effect more more power in our landing page, so to speak. So sorry for my English, guys. So I'm trying to explain what I'm doing in here. So this is our navbar and this is our hero section. So the next section that we are going to tackle is the statistics section. After we're done with the hero section, the navbar, so the next component that we're going to be adding is the statistics section underneath the hero section. So again, we're going to go back to the ballstack.div. So click on the blocks or go to the blocks page and click on the statistics section. And so this is the component that we're going to be using. I'm going to copy the code and I'm going to go to the components folder and I'm going to call this file stat section.jsx and I'm going to paste the file. I'm going to save the file. And after I've done this, so the only thing that I need to do, I'm going to import the actual component that I just added. So I'm gonna add it this way. And if we go back to our landing page and reload the page, we should see our new hero section underneath the stats section underneath the hero section. So as you can see, this is our hero section. So the only thing that we need to do is to update the data and also to add an image at the right side of the data. Again, we're going to go back to our project. And here inside the data folder, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call it stat section data.jsx and I'm going to paste our array. So the only thing that I need to do, I need to import the type from the component that we just added. So once our array has been added inside the file, so all I have to do is to import this array and assign it to the statistics prompt. So I'm going to import the array this way. So once everything is done, I'm going to save the file and I'm going to go back to my landing page and I'm going to reload the page to see the new data that I added. So as you can see, this is the data in the array that we just added inside our component. So the next we are going to actually update the text in our section. We're going to go back to the project. Sorry, we're going to go back to the project again. And here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just paste the prompts in our component like this. So here we're going to use pretty much the same structure that I used inside the hero section 5 component. So we're having the subhidden and we're having the main hidden, and the main hidden also has the text property as a React node, so you can be able to use the HTML or use the GSX inside the actual property if we want to. So if I save the file and I go back to the project, so as you can see, we can be able to actually like do this with our title. We can actually add the color for a portion inside the title, and we can only do so if we make the text property as a React node. And also we added a little bit this description, and to be able to get rid from this badge, so all I have to do, I'm gonna go to the feature badge, and also it has the class name, and I'm gonna add the hidden utility class. And as you can see, our actual feature badge has been hidden successfully. And we're going to keep updating our section. So let's go back to our code. And here I'm going to paste these prompts. And so we're having the section ID, the image, and the class name. So here, as you can see, we're having these errors. So the reason for this, we need to import these functional component. But first, we need to create this function called the remove leading hash. So this function is going to remove the hash character from the beginning of each string. So to be able to do this, so I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to call it utils.js, and this is the function that we're going to be using. So it's going to accept a string, and so we are going to actually get rid from the hash character by using the start with function, sorry, or built-in JavaScript function. And so if it is true, so we're gonna slice it by using the slice function. Otherwise, we're gonna use the string that we provided inside the argument. So once we have this done, so all you have to do is just import the function that we just added. And also we're gonna import this function that I showed you at the beginning of the project, which is inside this navbar data.jsx. So I'm gonna try to explain what it does. So basically what this function it has this menu title, and we're gonna use a little bit of TypeScript just to make sure that this, whenever we are providing this argument, it's gonna be type safe. So we are gonna only use the elements that we added inside the navbar data that we are using. And also it's gonna help us to have a better experience as a developer to avoid bugs and problems later on. So since it is a statistic section, so we're gonna use the y us, and to be able to actually get this IntelliSense, so this is why we are using the type of. So we're going to access to each key inside of the object, and to actually access to the title property. So we're going to use the number and the title. And to be able to actually make this happen, this needs to be read only. And to be able to do so, we need to use the as const. So this is why we separated this array from this area and created a copy of it to be able to actually access to the IntelliSense and to the TypeScript features. Then we're gonna loop through the main menu copy to find the item that we actually added inside the argument. So if we found it, because this could be undefined, we're going to return the URL. So the URL is going to be returned by the hash character. So that's why we are going to use the remove leading hash to get rid from the hash character. So just to test this out, so if we go here and we click on the YAS, so as you can see, we can go to the section that we want by providing this line in here. So because the section ID, it's going to be linked to the ID. So if we go to the component, so it's going to be linked to the ID of the section tag. So this is how things are working. So for the image, I added this image inside the public folder. As you can see, this is the image that we are using. So I took a snapshot from the project that I built. So I added some width by using the class name property, and also I added the Z50 and the overflow hidden. The reason for this because I'm going to add the blur blobs underneath the image just to give it this futuristic and this good looking look. And this is what I'm going to do now. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna paste this div. So this div, it's gonna be absolute, the opacity 0.3. So, and also we're gonna use the top just to be able to actually, so if we go in here, as you can see, so now things look even nicer. So as you can see, to be able to position this blur at this position, so we're gonna use the top 2100 pixel, and the blur is going to be 130 pixel, and the height and the background. So we're going to use the background primary, and the width it's going to be 1000 pixel. So and to be able to make it at the uh, so so this is for the actual div to be able to, sorry, to be able to get this blurry effect. So as you can see, our landing page is looking so good so far. So the next component that we're going to be adding is the features section. So I think that's the feature section that we are going to add. So to be able to do so, again, we're going to go back to the boltstack.div. And here we're gonna go to the features section. So click on it to access to all the components, and all the way at the bottom. So this is the actual section that we're gonna be using. So we're gonna copy the code, and first we're gonna create our component as we did for the other ones. So let me create a new file and paste the actual component in here. So once I'm done with this, so all you have to do is go back to the page.tsx, and I'm going to add a comment in here, feature section, and I'm going to import the the new component that I added. So I'm going to save the file, and let's go back to our landing page, and hopefully we can see our new section at the bottom of the stats section. So as you can see, if we go down a bit, so this is the hero section. So all we have to do as we did for the other components is to update the data, and also to actually add some utility classes from the prompts to actually give the gradient color for each card that we're having in here. But first we need to add our data, and this is what we are going to do. We're going to go back to the project, and inside the data folder, so I'm going to create a new file, features data.tsx, and I'm going to paste the array. So the only thing that I need to do here, I'm going to import the type for each object. So I'm gonna explain this very quickly. So we're having the ID, the title, the description, the icon that we are going to use for the card, and also we're having the icon background color, so we're not going to use it, and also the card class name. So again, all you have to do is just to provide the utility classes in the class name, and you are ready to go. So this is the structure of each object. And also for the icon, as you can see, we're going to use the size 11. So this is for the width and the height of the icon. So all I have to do is to actually link this features data with the prompt that I'm providing in the component. So this is what I'm going to do. So we're having the features array, and so we're going to actually import the features array that we just added, and also I'm going to hide the batch. So again, I'm going to add the feature batch prompt, and I'm going to add the class name property, and all I have to do is just to add the hidden utility class. And if we go back to our landing page and we reload the page to see the new data. So as you can see, this is the data that we actually added inside the array with the icons and all the text. And also we got rid from the actual feature. So that's cool. So all we have to do just to provide the prompts, and you are ready to go. So we're gonna keep actually updating our component. So let's go back to the project, and I'm gonna paste all the elements necessary. So I'm going to explain everything. So here we're having the section ID, and as we did for the component in here, so we're going to use the same functions, and with the IntelliSense, so we can safely actually choose the feature to be able to actually get to the URL that we want. And also another thing that provided in this component is you have the ability to add the image at the right or the left section, just to give to make the component a little bit modular. And we're having the image property with the alt and the source and the class name. So I'm gonna use this. So I'm gonna use this I'm gonna use this image called the temple cards. So I'm having the class name and also the title and the description. So if we go back, so if we go back to our landing page, so this is the complete version of our section. So the last thing that I'm going to add is the blur effect. So this is the div, and if I go back to the landing page, and hopefully that we are going to see it, as you can see. So this is our blurry uh, this is our blur underneath these templates. So we're done with the section. So the next section is going to be how it works section. And now let's add the how it works section. So again, we're gonna go back to boldstack.div, and we're gonna go to the features section. And in the features section, so we're gonna use the features section number 2, and we're gonna copy the code. And so let's go to the components folder, create a new file, and we're gonna call it how it works.jsx. I'm going to paste the actual component in here. And as we did for the other components, so I'm going to add the new component. So I'm going to add a little comment in here, how it works, section, and I'm going to actually import the component. So once the component has been added in the page.jsx, we should see our new section in our landing page. So I'm going to reload the page again. So this is the actual component, as you can see. So as we did for the other elements, so we are going to add the array or the new data, but also we're going to update the styling, and also we're going to update the title and the description. So first, let's start with the data. We're going to go to the data folder. I'm going to create again another file, and I'm going to call it how it works data.tsx. So I'm using the tsx since we're gonna have some React components in our array, and I need to actually call the type called the feature section to card, which has the structure of each object. So we're having the class name. So each object represents the uh, the card. So we're having the class name, we're having the title, the description, the icon property, and the icon property object also have nested elements, the class name and the icon background class name. So we're not going to use those. And finally, we're having the button, and the button have the text, the class name, the URL, and the variant. So I made sure that I want to cover all the elements inside the card, so we don't have to go inside the component and do the necessary modification. So for the class name, so I'm going to save first I'm going to assign this array to the actual prompt. So the prompt called the features array, and I'm going to actually call the how it works data. And let's go back to the actual section, and we should see our new updates in our section. So if we go in here, as you can see, so this is the update, and right off the bat we have all the elements that we want. So the icon, we're having the title, the description, and also I added a bit of gradient just to give it a modern look and to really fit with the color schema. And also, if we go back to our array here, so this is the class name that we are going to actually use and apply in our component, and we're having all the utility classes just from the array. So as you can see, we're having the border and the background gradient class name just to actually apply the styling, as you can see in our card. So once we're done with this, so we are going to actually update the text, which is the most easiest part. But first, I need to get rid from the the feature, the batch feature. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this actual prompt, and I'm going to use the class name and hidden as I did for the other component. So now I'm going to add the remaining prompts just to finish the section. So I'm going to paste these prompts like this. So we're having the section ID. So we're going to choose the how it works. So again, if we do this, so we're gonna select how it works, and we're having the title. So the title also has nested object, the text and the class name. So we're gonna just use the text and the description. So again, if we go back to our section, as you can see, the badge or the feature badge is gone, and the new title and the description is has been updated. And also another thing that I didn't mention, while we are building this, everything is responsive. As you can see, everything is responsive so far because these components also I made it responsive from the get-go. So once we have all the sections built, so the next section is going to be the pricing or it's going to be the testimonials section. So now we're going to add the testimonials section. So again, we're going to go back to ballstack.dev. So inside the block section, or in the block section, sorry. So we are going to go to the testimonials and we're going to choose the final component, which is this one. So I'm going to copy the code again, where I'm going to go to the actual component in here. So let me create a new component. So I'm going to actually not use this one and call the component testimonials.tsx. So let's paste the code. And again, I'm going to call the testimonials component that we just added like this. So let's go back to our landing page to see if the component has been added as usual. So every time that I do a new change or a new update, I go back to the app to see that everything is working before I go to the next step. So that's why I'm doing this uh, every time that I add a new update. So if we scroll down a bit, as you can see, this is our landing page ready to be used. So we need to do some minor updates like with the background. So this is what we're going to do next by using the prompts of the component that this component provides. So let's go back to our project. And I'm gonna paste all the elements. So again, we're gonna use the section ID by using these functions. So the class name, so this class name is gonna be linked to the section that we are using inside the component. So we're going to add a little bit of padding at the top and sorry, we're gonna add it at the bottom. So the testimonial badge, as we did for the other functional components. So we're going to hide it by using the hidden utility class. And for the testimonial card, so I provided this prompt just to be able to actually customize the card from the prompt or from the print component, and we're going to use the background. We're going to use the gradient color by using the BG gradient utility class. So if we go back to our landing page, so I think things uh, look great. And we're going to stick with all the data. I think is not important. So the most important things in how to actually put everything together and build this landing page. So we completed the testimonial. Now we are going to go to the pricing section. So let's add our pricing section. Again, we're going to go back to our site and we're going to go back to the blogs page and let's go to the pricing section. And we're going to choose this section or this pricing component. So let's go back to the actual project and let's create a new file called pricing.txt. I already created it. So let's get rid from all of this and let's paste the code. So this is our component. So once the component has been added. Again, we are gonna add the component that we just added inside the components folder. So I'm gonna save the file. So let's go back to our browser and I'm gonna reload the page to see the new components or the new component underneath the testimonial component. So if we scroll down, as you can see, this is the pricing section. So all we have to do is just to update the data. So to be able to do so, we need first to actually add the array. So since we're having cards, we need to use an array to actually use them and update each card. Actually, we're going to stick with the data that we're having inside the component. So since this is just for demonstration, so let's go back to the page.jsx and we're going to add the necessary prompts to update the other elements inside the section. So I'm going to copy all of these properties. So again, as we did for the other components, so we're going to use this to actually create our section ID, the class name. So let's get rid from this. The batch is going to be hidden. And also we are going to actually use we're going to use the hidden this way since the text accepts the React node, so we can be able to customize it, as you can see, to be able to add colors or whatever that you want to do with the hidden rather than making it as a text. So the only thing that I'm going to add is the blur underneath these two cards. So let's go back to the project and I'm going to add the div in here. So we should see our blur in here. So as you can see, this is the blur. So now our section looks uh, nicer. So the last element that we are going to add is the footer section.